Welcome back to the Smart Solar Academy. For this particular module, we're going to talk about solar and the Homeowners Association and what rights do homeowners have to install solar on their homes. So, as millions of Americans are letting the sun pay their electric bills by installing solar panels, there are some homeowners associations that are preventing their residents from going solar. Now, this opposition to solar comes from a limited understanding of how solar benefits homeowners and their neighbors. Now, 25 states have passed solar access laws that protect a homeowner's right to go solar. Unfortunately, even in states with solar access laws, many HOAs still prohibit or enact unreasonable restrictions on solar installations. You should have the right to go solar regardless of where you live. This guide will help prospective solar homeowners overcome HOA objections and provide practical advice to make your HOA more solar friendly. So again, I'm doing this tutorial, this module, so that you as a solar rep can defend your homeowner or your client once they decide to go solar. Because again, some areas in the United States are really very strict about their HOA laws. And if you live in a community where it's very tight knit, chances are you're kind of scared of your homeowners because they can impose fines. And as a real estate investor, I've also seen some where homeowners association fines was able to foreclose on a home. And again, as a homeowner, that's one of our fear, like, oh, my homeowner's going to say something about this. If I install solar, what are they going to say about this? And this is your chance to write and to correct your homeowners if they decide to stop a solar installation from happening. So there are steps to take in order to get your solar installed if you are fighting against your homeowners. I'm not gonna say fighting, but if you have like a rub in with your homeowners association. So know your solar rights, learn about your HOA, plan your approach, organize your pro solar neighbors, and meet with your HOA board if needed and overcome any objections they might have. And step seven is to celebrate your success and then go solar. Step one, know your solar rights. So these blue states right here are states with stronger protections for solar access. Now, yellow states are limited protection, but again, it is not for the HOA to decide for you not to go solar. Before you do anything else, see if your state has solar access law by visiting the Community Associations Institute Solar Rights and Easements. And I'm going to include that because it's a long word to remember. I'll include the link in this module. And solar access really protects the right of a homeowner, and it also defines where the HOA laws stop in preventing homeowners from going solar. Many of these laws allow HOAs to place reasonable restrictions on the size and location of a solar installation, only if these rules do not impose significant cost of the system to the homeowner or significantly reduce the productivity of the solar array. Now, some HOA may say, I don't want any visibility of the panels in front of the house because for them it's an aesthetic concern. So HOAs can impose that, but they cannot prevent you from installing your solar panels. If it's in their bylaws that says, I don't want any panels that are covering, this part of your roof because you have quite a view here. So again, you have to know your HOA. And that goes to the second step. Learn about your HOA. HOA boards often make demonstrably false claims about aesthetics, property values, and safety to restrict members from installing solar. Now, I've compiled several handy facts about, how HOA may falsely claim about or may falsely claim the disadvantages of installing solar panels. Now, look into this. Are solar panels explicitly prohibited in your HOA bylaws? If not prohibited, are there rules that may effectively prohibit an installation? An example of this would be forbidding an installation on the part of your roof that optimizes solar production if that part of the roof is street facing. So, if your roof is street facing and your HOA prohibits you from installing it because it's an eyesore, then definitely it would lower your production with your solar. So think about it in that kind of perspective. If your only south facing panels will be visible from the street, then you definitely, as a homeowner, can fight against your HOA about that. Because if you put your panels somewhere where it's north facing, then it would not even make sense to you, because then you would lose tremendous amount of production if you have to put your panels where it's not getting enough sun. Again, are there rules governing the type of panels? What type of panels can they install? Are there rules governing the placement of conduit, inverters, or other related electrical equipment? So when I say what kind of panels can you install, they really have no say about that, because you want the max production for your household. So whatever the solar installers have, whatever the solar designers have, will literally be the best way of going solar. And HOA cannot prevent that if it cuts down on uh, your production per year. Step three, plan your approach. You should have a one pager appeal and send that to your HOA. So your state solar access rules, again, if you have that, research on that one, your HOA solar policy, if it's available in writing, and then make sure that you have bullet points about the value of solar on your homes. Now, see the relevant section in the solar facts. I also included that in this module. You can download that. There's a lot of information out there that's very valuable for people, for your client that might go solar. Again, if I speak with you as if you are the homeowner, it's because at one point in your life you could be a homeowner and want to go solar, so you can pass this information down to your clients if they have the need to go against their HOA policies. So I highlighted this in red because this is really important for HOA to know. Okay. Step four is to organize the pro solar neighbors. Again, if you have to come across this, that means you're already on step four. You have to get your ducks lined up. Gather a group of your pro solar neighbors for a meeting to put together a plan to approach the HOA board. Share your stories about your interest in going solar and which HOA policies need to be changed. Share your one pager with a group to get their feedback and edits on the document. Write a group letter to the board explaining the problem and asking them to change their policies to ensure solar rights for HOA members. Use a professional tone and express your interest in working with the board to resolve the issues. You'll want to include your one pager, the state solar access law, and a printout of the solar facts and HOA model policies below. In the closing, ask for a meeting with the board to discuss your concerns and urge them to consider adopting the model policies. Have as many people as possible from your HOA sign the letter. If possible, organize multiple meetings and house parties to build support for your initiative before you approach the HOA. Meet directly with as many of the HOA board members as possible before presenting to the board. Listen to their concerns and educate them about how solar add value to homes and also about any applicable laws. So if you are in this process already, you know that you have to take steps for HOA to change some of their policies if they are preventing you from going solar. Step five is you could meet with the HOA board. Again, these are just extra measures for you to take if you ever have to go through the step five. The meeting with the board will probably be the most effective if you can bring as many of your HOA neighbors as possible. Before the meeting, review the solar facts and bring enough copies to leave with the board members as well as the other materials included in your letter. After introductions, review the points from your group letter and directly ask the board to revise their solar policies to align with the model policies. It's a good strategy to give the board members opportunities to respond and to have one of your group take notes. One of the major goals of this meeting is to ask them to put the issue on the agenda for the next board meeting. After the meeting, follow up with a thank you email, or it could be a phone call, and ask to be notified when the issue will be discussed at an upcoming board meeting. Overcome objections. If the board delays or rejects your request, it's time to step up community support and pressure by encouraging more of your neighbors to contact the board directly via email or calls, collecting more signatures from your neighbors by bringing a petition on a clipboard to neighborhood gatherings and going door to door, organizing a community wide meeting to discuss the issue. You may also want to host smaller house parties to get your point across. Reach out to local media to ask them to cover the issue. If you believe that your HOA policy may violate your state's solar access law, you may want to consult with a lawyer and reach out to your local representatives. And again, these are just drastic measures if your HOA really has to block you from installing solar on your rooftop. If your HOA has a good solar policy but permits for solar installations and are denied by the HOA's Architectural Review Committee, then ask the committee for the chance to make your case so that they do not base their decision on misconceptions about solar. Again, they said ARC review, and sometimes it could be as easy as I don't want panels in front of facing the street. Okay, so just ask them what can be changed because maybe they'll be willing to work with you. Sometimes no amount of facts can convince a solar skeptic. Fortunately, you are not out of options. Consider running for your own HOA board for yourself, which would give you a greater way or a greater say in allowing solar in your community. If you are really ambitious, you can work to help pass a solar access law in your state. But most of the states already have solar access law. These are just drastic measures you could take once the HOA is trying to block you from going solar. If you overcome these objections, you are now on step seven, which is to celebrate your success and go solar. I hope you found some value about the HOA and solar rights. And I hope you share this with others so that they can also benefit from knowing what rights they have as a homeowner in installing solar panels on their rooftop.